Today is super special. It's kind of like a 2-for-1 deal. We have the father and son duo here, Shane and Julio Trana. Shane and Julio represent Saxon Muay Thai out of the heart of the valley, Van Nuys, California. And actually, as it stands, Shane is the #1 130-pounder in the entire North America. You just won that belt recently. Julio is one of the more reputable striking coaches in for sure the Valley in LA and California, in my opinion. You guys are super busy, so it means a lot that you guys are here. So, without further ado, thank you, Shane, Julio, for being here. I appreciate it. Of course. So I just want to start with you, Julio, and then I'll transition to asking you a few things, Shane. So I'm very interested to hear from you both. But Julio, can you just start by saying, because I don't know, and I'm sure a lot of your followers and followers of the gym don't know as well, where are you from? Where were you raised? And what do you currently do?
So I was born in LA. I was raised pretty much in the Valley. Started off North Hollywood. That's where I started my training. Was in North Hollywood, and moved around a little bit within the Valley, and ended up in Van Nuys opening up a gym. But I'm the owner of Saxon's Muay Thai in Van Nuys and Saxon Muay Thai in Sydney Valley.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's 2 locations.
Yeah.
Shane, you're also born and raised in the Valley.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Okay. How did you? Very interested to know. How did you get introduced to fighting? That's the first part, and then how did it come to where I'm going to invest my entire life into this? How did you get introduced to it firstly?
Man, honestly, it's real simple. I'm an 80s baby, and grew up watching Power Rangers. And I had a favorite on there. One of my favorite Power Rangers was the green one, and did a little research, found out he did some kickboxing. Okay. And when we moved to North Hollywood, we found a kickboxing gym, literally right around the corner. And I think we went in there the first time, and one of the pictures that I saw on the wall was John Claude Van Damme, which at that time I had seen already, Bloodsport and all those movies. And I saw that and I was like, this is where I gotta train. So I know around that time most people wanted to do karate, but I knew I wanted to do some sort of kickboxing or something, which ended up being Muay Thai, somewhat similar. But that's how I got started.
And so it wasn't like your Julio Senior, your father. It wasn't like he was pushing this on you. It was something that you kind of came across as this is what I want to do.
Yeah, no, my dad boxed in his country, so he had some experience already. I shouldn't say some experience. He fought and everything, but what ended up happening was I want to say I was 6 years old, and even though I wanted to join, there was a time issue where I really couldn't take the kids class because my parents were still working. So if I were to train, I had to take the adults class. And at 6 years old, it's kind of intimidating, to take an adults class.
Now.
Yeah. So we found out that the class was at 7, and not gonna lie, man, I started crying. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. And my dad was like, look, man, I'll join with you. So we actually started our journey together in Muay Thai. And
Sick. And then you trained up until you opened your own gym?
Kinda. I trained from 6 to the age of 18. And then I'm gonna say I fell off of training, but I was always kind of playing back and forth with teaching classes, helping my dad, because he's taught since I want to say since I was the age of 10. So he always taught some classes, and I kind of faded away from the whole training, fighting, and kind of came back, I want to say maybe 5 years after, and then that's how me and my dad opened up the gym.
Got you. And I have your logo here behind you. When did you open Saxon Muay Thai? You're coming up on your 15th anniversary.
Yeah, 2010.
2010.
So May 3rd, 2010.
Was this the headquarters in Van Nuys? Was that the location originally?
That's the original gym, but the original location was literally 2 miles down the street.
Okay. Can you explain to the viewers and a lot of your members who are going to see this, what is Saxon Muay Thai? It's a combat sports gym, but what is like the mantra, or what is the whole story behind Saxon? Like, where did the name even come from?
So Saxon is man, it's funny you asked that. Like till this day, I'll walk around, I'll be somewhere in the valley, and somebody calls me Saxon, thinking that that's my name. Saxon's actually my coach's name. Thai guy, owns a gym in Texas now, but decorated fighter. He, like I said, he was from Thailand. He was one of the first Muay Thai fighters to come from Thailand and live here. And his name's Saekson Academy. He used to teach at the gym where I first started. And I was in a unique position because when you train, typically with a coach, you get them like towards the end of their career, they're done fighting. When he was teaching, he was still fighting. So, I would take his classes. I trained with him for like 10 plus years. And yeah, man, it was a unique situation because we would literally train like if he was fighting. So all the classes he would do was always like, all right, this is what we're doing. But it was really like, I need to do this because he was preparing for a fight.
Right.
So, long story short, man, that's what I learned. I learned how to train like a fighter. And, most gyms you kind of go and there's a beginner level, intermediate level, advanced level. And Saxon didn't have that when he used to teach. So, you fast forward now, when I opened my gym, first thing I thought of was like, all right, first off, we got to call it Saxon's Muay Thai because all my training came from this guy, And secondly, I'm like, we're not going to separate classes. We're not going to have beginners. We're not going to have advanced fighters. Everyone's going to train the same. And the thought process behind opening the gym was, we're going to train everybody like they have a fight, but not everybody has to be a fighter. So I thought that was the best route for us to go. And, 15 years later, we still kind of have that same blueprint. That's how we run the gym. And it's worked out.
No, it definitely has. I definitely can attest to that. It doesn't matter if you're a 35-year-old soccer mom or you're an 18-year-old football player. Like, you're going to get the same training at that class regardless. And I love that.
And you might train with her, whether you're a pro fighter, amateur fighter. So. And
I love that about the gym. What inspired you, though, to be like, okay, like when did you say, okay, I'm actually going to open my own gym? What inspired that?
Man, honestly, sitting at a desk like this, with no mic, but I had a desk job, man. I was, funny enough, training was right across the street in that building over there. That's why I was over here and I was kind of like looking around, but I worked for 2 financial institutions, and I was a business banker. And it was dope, man. I loved it, probably for the first 2 years. But as time kept going, like, I just saw a ceiling. I saw a ceiling. I was tired of kind of having that 8 to 5, Monday through Friday job. And my dad was still teaching. And I want to say the last, 3 months of my job, my dad kind of was like, man, come help me. I got some guys I want to fight. Started helping them a little bit. And fell in love with it, man. I fell in love, and within those 3 months when I started helping my dad, we actually grew the program. And where I used to teach, it used to be a fitness gym, and we had like a 1 hour slot to teach Muay Thai, and it was Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. I want to say we started off with maybe 10 people. Then it grew to like 25 people. We needed to go past that slot. It was us, Muay Thai from like 6 to 7. And then 7 to 8, yoga,
Yeah.
So we had to kind of hurry up, get off the mats, and yoga had to come. And it kind of became an issue, man. It kind of became an issue because we're going past our time. As you know, you train. The mats ain't the cleanest after you're done with a Muay Thai workout. So, we don't have to throw any names, but the owner wasn't too happy that we're going past our time. And, I think things happen for a reason, man. I as a business banker, I met a lot of people, and I kind of knew, or I had an idea of what it took to open up a business. It was a Friday, and got in an argument with the owner of the fitness gym because we were being too loud, and too loud just meant we were kicking the pads, It was actually the 20 right, 20 left.
Okay.
And everybody just stopped and looked like, what the hell's going on? But yeah, man, we had a conversation with her. She said what she had to say. We drove back home. I was in the car with my dad. Told him, I was like, man, we don't need that, you know? The next day, Saturday, I went to go look for a spot. And I told my dad, you know, I'm gonna go look for a spot, man. If I find something, I'll let you know. Literally, the first spot I went to, found it, talked to the lady, told her what I wanted to do, told her to help us out. Sunday, she calls me back. She's like, if you guys want it, you guys got to come in on Monday. And it took 2 days, man. It took 2 days, and we opened up our own spot, which was the first Saxon's Muay Thai at Van Nuys.
That's so tight. This, to hear the story, the backdrop behind it, and
Yeah.
how it's come so far in 15 years, it's actually crazy. Golden question here that I know everyone wants to know. Where did you find Master No? And what is his contribution? I know he's a great coach. How did that relationship come together?
Man, so I've known Nope. I want to say I met him like 12 years ago, 13 years ago. One of the first places, and it's the mecca of fighting, is Vegas. Mm-hmm. When we first started, like for us, there was a promotion called Line Fight, and it was dope, man. It was a dope promotion. We always wanted to be on that. And for me personally, since we were a new gym, I was like, man, if I can get my fighters on that show, I'm like, we're legit, you know. And we did, man. I started having fighters on there, and Nope was already like an instructor in Vegas. And, you know, just kind of by passing by and stuff, and I'm kind of the new guy, so I'm always like, I was a lot friendlier back then, you know, I was trying to put the gym's name out there. And talked to Nope a couple times here and there. I can't remember what gym he worked for, but I know he bounced around a little bit in Vegas. So I knew of him. And then, you know, we fast forward, I want to say 12 years. 2 years ago, 2023, I knew I wanted to open up another location. And I had already kind of slowly transitioned my way out of coaching all the classes. I think you started and I was already not teaching every single class, which wasn't the case once upon a time, so you know.
How often were you coaching?
Every day. Every day I taught every single class, 10 a.m., 5:30 p.m. we used to have a women's class, and 7 p.m., Monday through Friday. So, you know, little by little, I started kind of sprinkling some of my OG students that become some great coaches. But when this thought of opening up a new gym came, I was like, man, I need somebody, and the only way I'd be okay with somebody outside of the gym is if it's a Thai guy, you know, so one thing we've never had, man, you know, till this day you know, it's unfortunate, but I get it. You know, we do get calls and they're like, okay, like how much is it? All right, when are the classes? What's the name of the instructor? Is he Thai? Mm-hmm. You know, and you know, it doesn't bug me anymore, you know, but I've always wanted to kind of pick up that call now and be like, yes, we do, you know. And man, I work with a promoter, real close, good friend of mine. And he told me that there was a Thai guy at the gym, which happened to be the gym where I started at. Mm. So I started at Muay Thai Academy, and Nope was teaching there 2 years ago. And, you know, don't have to say too much, but let's just say he wasn't too happy with his conditions over there. And, you know, the promoter calls me, he's like, hey man, if you want to talk to him and see what he wants to do, you know, here's his number. And gave him a call. You know, told him to come by, swing by, look at the gym, and yeah, man, the rest is history. It kind of worked out.
And so. I should have done a proper intro for Master No because that's what he deserves. But so he teaches Thai classes at your gym. What days does he teach?
Consistently, he teaches like Monday, Wednesdays at night, 7 p.m. And then he teaches. He teaches all the morning classes now. The morning being 10 a.m. Okay. So Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m.
And he stays at the gym?
Yeah, he stays at the
gym.
That's
so tight. And you guys do a lot of one-on-one sessions, especially when you're leading up to a fight, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's super interesting to me because I always see Master No comes out of the back and I'm like, this guy's the truth.
He's never late.
Yeah, he's never late. But at Saxon Muay Thai, it's not just Muay Thai that you guys train. What else do you guys offer? What other forms of combat do you guys train at Saxon?
We teach jiu-jitsu and wrestling. Okay. And we do have some MMA classes that we don't necessarily like promote because it's mainly the fighters that do. But you know, I'd say overall though, those are we don't have too many of those classes. Our main focus is Muay Thai.
Yeah, I thought so when I came, and the website kind of leans toward that as well.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of wanted, this isn't a question, but I kind of wanted to share my experience with Saxon with you guys, because I know I probably speak for, I speak for a lot of the members. I definitely speak for Jeff as well. Saxon, for me, is like, it's literally therapy for me. It's the only place in the entire world where I go for an hour and a half and I completely shut off. I don't have my phone. I don't think about, you know, my car issues, my work issues, my girl issues. It's literally the only hour of my day where I'm completely shut off from anything other than don't get hit in the fucking face or turn your hips over on this kick. Like, and I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. It's an escape, and maybe they don't express that to you guys, but this is kind of me giving you your flowers, because even if you weren't so connected, you're very connected to your gym, and you're an owner who was always thriving and trying to accomplish more things. And even if that wasn't the case, just the way the gym is ran, it would keep me around, because it's legit and it's very clean too, which is, a lot of people listening is probably like, oh, that's obvious, but it's really not. A lot of gyms that I've trained at, even the UFC, a couple of UFC gyms I've been to, I actually got like a staph infection from one of them from training there. So your guys' gym is extremely sanitary, and it's an escape for a lot of people. And I know that I speak for a lot of people when I say that. Also, the culture at Saxon is it's very much judge free. You don't get judged at Saxon, whether it's your first day, whether you're, you know, like I said earlier, a soccer mom who wants to try it out for a workout. Everyone, I feel like, feels very welcome there from the top to the bottom. So I say all this to just kind of give you, you know, your flowers. Whether people take it on for a hobby or they want to be a professional fighter, you can do that at Saxon. And I know for sure for me, it's like an escape. So I just wanted to say that to you guys.
Appreciate that, man.
For sure. There's two locations, Simi Valley and Van Nuys. When did you open Simi Valley? It's a two-parter. When did you open Simi Valley? Do you see yourself opening a third location?
Man, I'm thinking. We opened up, when did we open up Simi? September 2023. Yeah, we opened it up September 2023. Yeah, that's when Nope started. So it's almost 2 years now. But yeah, man, real happy with the progress of Simi Valley. It's a lot smaller than our Van Nuys location, but I'm really happy. You know, I'm happy with how it's going. We've actually, you know, in a short period of time, we produced already a couple fighters out of there. Mm-hmm. We got a great kids program. I want to say, like, you know, probably 80% of our kids in the kids program have already competed.
Oh, wow.
You know? Yeah, man, that's something I encourage. You know, I encourage everybody. You caught me at a good time, man, and I know you wanted to fight. I know Jeff wants to fight. Mm-hmm. But when we first started, man, it was everybody has to fight. Yep. You know, I wanted everybody to do it at least once, you know, just so they get that feeling. And that feeling that you get where you're like, man, I go in there and I forget about everything, that's exactly what I was shooting for, you know, because there's a lot of learning lessons in fighting, man. And I think people look at it as just like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to compete, but it's man, you can take this outside of those doors, you know. And that's one of those things, man, where you said yourself, like, you do it and you forget about everything else. And that's what fighting is. You know, fighting, you have to be present. You have to be in the moment. And I think, especially now, man, a lot of people aren't in the moment in a lot of the things that they do. So when I hear that coming from you, I'm like, that's exactly why, you know, we train the way we are. That's why I say the things that I say. And no, we don't judge, but I do talk shit, you know, and I let people know. Yeah, man, I'm getting to that because I want to keep spreading that. So do I want to open up another location? Absolutely. You know, I think the gym has grown. My son now, you know, about to turn 18. He's made
dog.
Yeah, he's a dog. He got a full ride scholarship to Saekson Academy, you know, right when he graduates.
Let's go.
So, you know, there's a lot of things in the works for him. He's probably going to help me, you know, with a lot of these classes, taking over one of the gyms. And that's what I see is just opening up another spot. Santa Clarita, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, interesting. This is a perfect time to transition to you for a minute, Shane, because he just kind of segued you in. So you're 17.
Yeah.
When do you turn 18?
September.
September.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your current? Okay, you haven't declared pro, right? You can't until you're 18.
Until you're 18.
Yeah.
Okay. How many amateur fights have you had?
In total, 20.
20. Okay. When was your first fight?
My first fight was when I was 5 years old.
5 years
I was
old.
at the first location too.
Oh, it was like an in-house, or he was training there?
No, so they're called smokers, or they used to be
Smokers.
called smokers back then. But it's basically, like a amateur show, and you have it inside the gym, and you just kind of invite other gyms.
Right. So you recently became. To me, it's just crazy because I train and I understand how fucking hard it is. Like, not only to train consistently, that's one thing, right? That's its own hurdle, but to get in there and win fights, it's extremely hard. You just became the #1 junior in all of North America. What does that, what does that feel like? I feel like this has been years and years and years in the making. What does that title feel like to you?
Man, it feels like a lot, growing up knowing that, like, I started when I was about 2-3 years old, right when you opened up the gym, and didn't really take it too much seriously just because I was little, I'm just running around, punching everybody around,
right.
all the adults, all the kids, messing around in the kids' class, and then just fast forward doing this now, just putting all my dedication to it. It felt like a lot,
Yeah, for
especially
sure.
for what the goals I have set in the future and like what I want.
I saw when I watched some of your fight, the clips that were uploaded by Monster Promotions.
Yeah.
The #1 contender at the time was in Canada, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I saw some of the fights, and I saw the, just the emotion that overcame you when you won the belt, and I can only imagine what that feels like. I've fought one amateur fight. I guess it's actually not. It was combative sparring, if I'm being honest. And I remember winning that, and I felt like all the shit that I've been doing leading up to this moment was worth it. So I can't imagine how that moment felt for you. Something I wanted to touch on, because you're 17 years old.
Yeah.
Dude, when I was 17, I was fucking up. Like, I didn't have a fraction of the discipline that you have. And obviously your dad and your pops is a lot to attest to that, because he kind of instilled that into you. But I remember, just being a 17-year-old male in the United States of America, there's a lot of temptation.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I'm sure I know you sacrificed a lot in many things, specifically your personal life. You probably had to sacrifice, whatever the cool kids are doing on the weekends, or they're drinking, or they're going out with the cool kids. And, how is that tough for you, or has that always just been like, you have no interest in anything else?
Yeah,
All it is is fighting.
That's all I've had interest in, fighting. I really didn't care about going out with friends, none of that. It's just all been working my butt off in the gym, just going there.
100%.
Yeah.
When did you realize, at what age did you realize, like, okay, like, I could really take this places. I could really be a real professional fighter.
When I was about 13.
13.
Yeah.
Did that come from a series of like wins, or just your
It
confidence
was
started to
when
grow?
I won my first belt.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're like, I can really do this shit.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Let's see here. So what is, you just mentioned it a second ago, but what is your ultimate goal? Do you want to eventually be on a major promotion, like one championship one day?
That's the ultimate goal now.
Muay
Before, I'm a big UFC fan. You know this.
Yeah.
I've watched UFC ever since I was 3, and that's all I wanted to do. I'd impersonate other UFC fighters. I'd do all that. But then, I want to say around COVID times, I knew about one championship. You knew before me.
Yeah.
I thought it was just MMA, because they had MMA gloves on.
Yeah.
And I was just watching with them. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's MMA. That's another promotion. I had MMA. I was like, no, it's not. It's Muay Thai. I was like, oh, really? I was like, okay. Maybe I'll take a thought of this and doing Muay Thai and MMA gloves. That sounds pretty fun. Yeah. So then now I'm like, okay.
That's
now
your goal.
This is my ultimate goal.
Has it always been, and I'm asking both of you this because you're his trainer, has it always been Muay Thai as the goal? Have you ever thought, Shane, you could do MMA, or have you ever thought, I want to do MMA, or has it always been Muay Thai?
Man, I'll let him answer first.
I thought about doing MMA, but now that I'm like a little older and like I've just been doing Muay Thai all my life, that's where I want to go.
That's what you want to do?
Yeah.
That's what I wanted him to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was tough, man. It was tough. We've had some great MMA fighters. We've had some UFC fighters, and I know he looked up to a lot of them. But for me, man, personally, as a Muay Thai coach, someone that's only taught Muay Thai, like it's always been a dream. Like, man, I want my son to be a Muay Thai champion, pro, and that's it, man. That's the pinnacle of the sport right now. Is one championship. So
yeah, I watch it all the time. It's a huge promotion throwing all the time. It's based in Thailand.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Something that I thought of when I was like kind of prepping for this, which is kind of funny to me, is like you're super soft-spoken. I mean, you can see it right now. You're a very soft-spoken guy. You know, you don't really say much. You just handle your business. You're very friendly. Don't get it wrong, but you don't waste words. Like you're not gonna just say things to say things, and you're very soft-spoken. But I've also seen you fight, and when you get into that ring, it's like a whole different animal comes out. From the walkout until you get your hand raised, it's like a whole different beast. Especially when you're throwing those overhands, you know, you're mixing it up, the spinning back fist. How do you turn that? How do you flip that switch? Or is it just? I'm so curious. How do you go from the soft-spoken guy who doesn't say much, then you get in the ring and you're putting it on, boys? Pause. How do you get into that?
It's just like you said. It's a flip of the switch. My mentality is just okay. Be a nice guy. Be the humble guy. Disciplined. That once it's time. Once it's the green light to go in the ring, I make the walk. Once I see my opponent in front of me, that's where I'm like, this is it. I'm here to kill you.
Yeah. If anybody sees this, and maybe one of your future opponents will see this, please don't get it twisted with Shane here, with the soft-spoken. Hey, trust me on that. You have a younger brother, Jalen.
Yeah.
He also competes. Do you see him kind of following in Shane's footsteps? Do you see him as someone who wants to take this all the way as well?
Yeah.
For sure, right? 100%. He loves it.
Yeah.
And how many fights has he had? I'll make it quick. I don't want to hang up on Jalen. He's not here. But how many fights has Jalen?
Yeah, he's had 13 fights now.
13 fights.
Yeah.
Crazy. And he's how old?
8.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So obviously, being a fighter, like especially like how you take it, I feel like you gotta really love this shit.
Yeah.
You can't just some days. Okay, I don't feel like training. Where do you get the motivation to keep training every day? I'm sure a lot of it comes from habits that's instilled into you from your dad, but do you have days where you're like, fuck man, I don't know if I want to do this, or that's not the case at all? You're like, this is what I'm doing, and you may be a little tired some days, but the motivation is easy to find for you. What is it for you?
It's just the future goals, man. It's that one championship. If that's where I want to go, so I know I gotta be like, okay, I gotta train today. You know, even if I'm tired on a weekday, I'll be like, no, I gotta go. And I know there's so many dogs in the promotion, so I'm like, they're training right now, I'm not. I can't take that. I gotta train even harder than they're training.
100%. 100%. It was announced recently, and I don't know the full details, but I got the shirt on representing, as you guys can see. You and your brother Jalen were invited to fight and represent Team USA in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
When is that happening, and how did that come about?
Man, so it's something it's part of the WBC, which the WBC is most people know them as like a boxing sanctioning, but they do also do Muay Thai as well. And he was already chosen on the team around COVID times. And what year was that? 2021? Yeah, 2021. He was chosen on the team, and the first place that he had to go was Canada. And I think we couldn't travel. Obviously, man, I'm gonna say it because we didn't get the vaccination.
Me either.
Yeah, so we weren't vaccinated, and it was unfortunate, man, because we had to kind of pull out of that. And it was always something in the back of our minds, like, well, we'll jump on later. But he started having a good little win streak, and I got hit up by the rep from the U.S. and he was like, hey man, talk to me when he's done with this fight. He's fighting the #1 kid in North America. So he won the international tournament last year. So they were real curious about what was going to happen. And we had this fight against that kid in March. And literally the next day, man, the U.S. rep hit me up and he was like, hey, is Shane ready? Is he ready to go? I'm like, yeah, 100%. And he got chosen. And then literally 2 weeks after that, they called me for Jalen. So
yeah, that's big news.
Yeah.
What is the obviously you've been doing this a long time. Is there added? Sorry, I'm making you vulnerable here, but is there added stress and added nerves because of the magnitude of the promotion, and you're flying to a whole different country. I'm sure there's a bunch of countries that are coming to represent, have the same goal as you. Is it added nerves for you, or is it to you, it's like, this is another day, this is what I need to do to get where I'm going?
It's another day, obviously a different country. First time we're flying to another country to fight, and yeah, it'll be just another day repping, obviously, our country, the USA.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just excited for the opportunity, and obviously gonna go out there and get the gold.
Yeah, you're gonna do your thing for sure. And this is all, I think that, people see the one championship fighters, they see the UFC fighters, they don't know the journey. This is all part of your journey. You know what I mean? These things essentially have to happen for you to get where you want to go. And you're already in that mindset. Like, this is what I need to do. It's just another thing that I need to do. I want to ask you one more thing. I'm going to transition back to you, Julio. Something I've noticed, whether it was the smoker I did at Van Nuys or the IFS thing I did, is that there's this fight or flight thing that overcomes me when I get into an actual fight, and my technique and my game plan and all those things completely go out the window, and I'm fighting off instinct, and it's literally me in survival mode. Mm-hmm. How long did it take for you to get over that, to where you can get into your zone, you can get comfortable in there? It's almost like a sparring session the way your mental is. It's like, hey, I can see my shots here, I can see things coming. How long did that take you to overcome? Or did you deal with that at all?
I dealt with that.
Okay.
100%. It actually wasn't too long ago. In some fights, even though I won, it felt like I was spazzing out a little too much. But then once I started to find my rhythm and feeling comfortable, it's probably about, I want to say, 2 years ago. Yeah. And
now you're able to go in there and like really execute a game plan.
Yeah.
Man, I'm dying to get to that point because that shit sucks. You know what I mean? It's like everything that I've worked on, it's out the window. So I was always curious to see when that kind of turns off for an actual fighter. You also had, and I was very lucky enough to experience this, you had Jon Jones in.
Yeah.
Can you kind of just touch on how that came about?
Yeah, man. I've it's always like who you know, and we have Lovey, who's been a long-time student at the gym, and Lovey is actually Jon Jones's pastor or prophet. Mm-hmm. They've been good friends, man, and every single time like Lovey would go, because Lovey's actually been in Jon Jones's corner a couple times, and every time he's over there, man, Lovey's full of energy. Every time he was like hanging out with him, he'd call me and tell you gotta talk to my coach, John. You gotta talk, and we always talk like on video, on a video chat, and it just finally came about, man. Because I've always wanted him. Me personally, even though I'm a coach and everything, man, like he says, we've watched the UFC forever. Yeah. You ask me who my GOAT is, you ask me who my favorite fighter is, hands down it's Jon Jones. So even though we're a Muay Thai gym, and I always want to have like Muay Thai fighters come in. If there was an exception that I was going to make to have an MMA fighter come in and teach a striking class, it was going to be Jon. And we were fortunate to have him. What was this, 2023 or last year?
It was last year.
Last year, yeah.
Crazy experience, man. Yeah. That's my GOAT as well. So to even be in the same room with him was crazy.
Yeah.
Question for you that I'm curious about. Do you think to be a successful Muay Thai fighter, let's say if you want to go all the way to one championship, nowadays, there's the traditional Thai stance, there's traditional Thai fighting style, but I'll watch one championship and I'll see guys who kind of have more of a modern fighting style. Do you think, are you one of those coaches that think, I'm teaching traditional Thai and that's what works and that's the best way to go, or do you think people can be successful as a Muay Thai fighter using modern conventional fighting styles?
It depends on the fighter, ever since, look, here's the thing, man, Saxon, even though he was a Thai guy, he was straight from Thailand and taught us Muay Thai. Saxon actually has a different style, which is not considered traditional Muay Thai. Really quick, a little history on Saxon, man, is Saxon actually had the first UFC heavyweight champion. At the same time, he had the K1, which back then was like, the shit. He had the K1 heavyweight Grand Prix champion. And they all came in and they would train with Saxon, and he wasn't teaching them, heavy on the right foot, picking up the left foot. Like, he always kind of adjusted the training depending on who he had in front of him. And he did the same thing with me. You know, he didn't teach me. Man, there was a time I wanted to learn the white crew, which is like the traditional. And dude looks at me, he's like, "Why? You're not Thai. Don't worry about it." You know. So you talk to most Thai guys, and they're ecstatic that you want to learn that.
Yeah.
So he had an unorthodox way of teaching. So obviously, man, that's everything that I learned came from him. Like, I don't teach traditional. Like, I'll teach a couple classes here and there, but when I work with fighters one-on-one, like, we got to work at, like, what they're good at, you know? I kind of like comparing it to, like, cars, you know? Like, if you're built like a truck, you know, we're not going to work on you being a speed car. It's not going to make sense.
Right.
So you bring up one championship, man. One championship is like, if you come in with that traditional Muay Thai style, which traditional is kind of, I'm going to feel you out for a little bit and then pick it up in the third round. One championship is 3 rounds with baby gloves. Yeah. You try to fill somebody out, you know, you're waking up and be like, all right, it's over. Yeah.
100%. You have the 15th anniversary coming up, May 3rd. This pod will come out after that, of course, but you're celebrating it. You're having vendors in, food. You're having live fights to celebrate the 15th. Is a huge deal. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
How do you? Question for you for the smokers for the in-house. How do you do the matchmaking? If you're open to sharing that.
Yeah, sure, man. Like I do everything, man, on the fly. To be honest, you know, I do prepare with certain stuff. Like, look, man, even this 15th anniversary, I was literally, what was I doing? I think we were at the Stanburger, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, it's gonna be our 15 year. This was probably February. And I was like, oh shit, it's gonna be our 15 year. I'm like, you know what? We didn't have because we normally have a Christmas potluck. You've been at the gym, what, 2 years, 3 years?
A year and a half.
A year and a half.
Yeah.
So were you at the potluck 2 years ago?
I was not.
Okay, so you missed out, man. My bad.
Yeah, it's all good.
But every, like, around Christmas time, I have a potluck at the gym. All the members come in, and everybody's got to make a plate. You know, you bring a plate, and I'll have games. I give out awards. Like, we do awards. One thing that everybody loves is we have a beer pong tournament.
Sorry.
Yeah, like what was the pot like 2 years ago? It was like $400 or $500. Man, it's crazy.
To the winner of beer pong.
To the winner of beer pong. Yeah, yeah, it's dope, man. We have a lot of fun. But last year we didn't have it because we were in Thailand. We took the family and we spent Christmas out there and New Year's. So last year was like the first year we canceled that. And you know, I just thought, I'm like, man, we didn't have the potluck, so let me throw something big. And with the in-house, people always want to do the in-house, man. I'm going to tell you something, though. Yeah. As an owner, you know, it's not so beneficial to do an in-house, you know.
Liability?
Not liability, but, you know, I understand it. You're fighting, right? And then you might be fighting somebody that beats you up, and you might have to see him every day.
Correct.
You know? So I think, I'm trying to think about your fight quickly. You know, you had a good fight. Yeah. You had a good... kind of back and forth. It was even. We've had some fights where it hasn't been even. Correct. You know, and that's the one thing about fighting, man. I tell everybody, like, and you got to prepare, you know. And if you don't prepare, you go in there like the ring is a truth maker. You'll find out if you trained or not. But for this one, man, it's a lot more laid back. You know, Jeff, you're doing it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. You can ask him, man. I haven't really asked him anything. How I was telling you, like, hey, how's your weight? How's this? Yeah. You guys better show up at this time. It's going to be a lot more laid back this time, but the matchmaking gets done the day of. Gotcha. You know, because I don't know what everyone's going to show up at.
Yeah, 100%. I was just curious. Question, and then I'm going to segue into Thailand because you keep doing the perfect segues for me. But
I saw the script, man. I know the script.
A question, have you ever competed or have you always taken the coach route? Because your technique is phenomenal, so I was curious, have you competed?
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah. I take pride on my technique. Yeah. You know, I'm big on that. Yeah, I did compete. I think he beat me by a year, but my first fight was 6 years old. So I was 6, and then my last fight, I had just turned 18. And I had 41 fights.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
At 18. Mm-hmm. And was it something that, like, did you always say, like, okay, I'd rather take the coaching route? Or maybe when you had kids, it was like, okay, I got to prioritize this? Or when did you transition to being a coach? When your dad recruited you?
No, man. I don't want to keep getting into, like, these long stories, but it really is. There's an explanation for everything.
I'm interested.
I started from 6, and I was that kid, man. Like, just how you see Shane with me, I was Shane with my coach. You know, I was going to every fight with him. You would see Saxon everywhere, like I was him. People would call me Little Saxon because they were like, who the fuck is this kid, you know? And started competing at 6, started having fights, had a pretty good winning. Actually, no, I didn't have a good winning streak. My first 4 fights, I was 2-2. That's how he started his career. So there's always like little things that I can kind of relate and go back to him. But I started off 2-2, and then from there, I never lost a fight after that, man. Ended up 39-2, but
damn.
I just won fight after fight, and when I got to like my 10th fight, I was like 8-2. I started having a lot of people kind of back out.
Wait, hold on. You were 2-2?
I was 2-2, yeah.
And you ended up 39-2?
39-2.
Okay, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, man, I started having fights, and you know, from I think the 10th fight after that, like it was just hard getting opponents, and Muay Thai wasn't as popular back then, you know? So I kind of started circling back. I would fight some of the same kids because I was a kid at the time. And, you know, I was just kind of putting it on them, man, and little by little I kind of started fading away, and then like the decision maker for me was when my coach left.
Okay.
He left, I was 17 years old, 16. And he moved to Texas, opened up a gym over there, and I tried, man. I trained with another coach. I had like 2 fights with him, and it just wasn't the same. So, you know, I was already kind of unfalling in love with the sport because I just couldn't get matchups, man, which is one of the reasons why, like, I'm excited for him. I'm excited for my son. As you know, like I started my own promotion with Cali Kids. Yeah. It's one of the main reasons that I started the kid promotion is, you know, I feel like you talk about any other sport, and the biggest thing is the youth program. You know, like how you watch the NFL, the NBA, all these guys competed when they were kids, man. You know, they get hundreds, thousands of hours of practice before they make it to big leagues, and sometimes in Muay Thai it gets forgotten. And I was one of those kids, man. I suffered from that. There was no kid promotion. You know, we were always kind of like the afterthought, like we'll sprinkle a kid fight in this amateur show. So that was kind of whack to me. Yeah, that's how I got started. And then when Saxon left, started kind of teaching with my dad, and you know, I was like, all right, man, I'm back in this, and I was like, kind of flipped the switch, and I'm like, all right, I knew I wasn't gonna fight because I didn't want to train unless it was with my coach, and I would for sure as hell wasn't gonna go to Texas.
Right.
And yeah, man, once I started kind of teaching and having my own fighters, I'm like, all right, like that competitiveness kind of came back, which actually was more, you know, like as a fighter, it's one thing. But now that you're a coach and you got to control, you know, other people's destinies, or not control necessarily, but like you kind of manage that.
Yeah.
You know, it's next level, man. Like the nerves, you know, I like explaining it like, you know, imagine playing a video game and you have the controller. You're watching your guy fight.
Yeah.
And sometimes that fucking buttons don't work, you know? So
100%. You talked real quick about the Cali Kids promotion.
Yeah.
This is your promotion.
My promotion.
You started this.
I started.
How old is that promotion now?
About 5 years now. 5 years. Yeah, man. Yeah, funny story. The first Cali Kids was going to be March 15th, 2020. And yeah, exactly. He was going to be on my card. I had a stacked card, man, which is crazy to say for kids, but I had a stacked card.
Yeah.
And the week before, like, all this stuff started coming out. And yeah, Friday comes, so it was supposed to be weigh-ins, and then everyone's watching the news, and nothing's happening. We were ready, man. Yeah, we were ready.
And then, was that discouraging? Did you ever think, fuck, man, this probably wasn't meant to be, or you were like, it is what it is, I gotta keep moving forward and do it?
Well, I mean, don't forget, I'm still a gym owner.
Yeah.
So, was it discouraging? Like, I completely forgot about the promoting part, because I hadn't even touched on that yet. Yeah, it was discouraging as a gym owner, you know, because, you know, I think we all went through it, man. You know, I know people kind of went past it a little bit more, but for me, like, I'm a little different, man. I'm straightforward, you know, like, I don't just jump to conclusions right away. Like, I like to kind of navigate myself to answers and stuff. And if I'm honest, man, for me, it took 3 days, and I was like, all right, I think all this is bullshit, you know. But as the news was coming out and they were saying like how you can catch stuff and everything, and I just kept reading the list, I'm like, fuck, we're fucked as a gym. I'm like, we're super contagious.
Right.
You know, how are you going to train with somebody like 6 feet? Get out of here! Like, you can't afford the pads.
Yeah, no. Another question for you, and you just made me think of this one on the fly, and it may be a little boring to some of the viewers, so we'll make it quick. But
I'll make it fun.
On the business side of things, because I'm curious, running a gym, like, are you required by the state of California to carry certain like insurance policies?
Yeah.
What are those like? General liability.
General liability, like your regular stuff.
Okay.
You know, because we don't throw events inside of the gym like professional ones. We don't have to go to an excessive one. But yeah, man, if anybody gets hurt, just like on the job, you know.
100%. And then also another question stemming from that.
But so you guys know, when you join the gym, you signed a waiver that if anything happens, that shit's on you. So
message.
Yeah.
The coaches at Saxon. Another number one thing that I love about the gym is the diversity and the looks you get from different coaches. And all these guys are, you know, very experienced and have a lot to offer. When you're deciding on who to let represent your gym and coach and mold new fighters, how does that decision come in? And are all these guys like internal? You trained with them, and then none of these guys just came to you and was like, "Hey, I want to train at your gym," or "I want to coach at your gym," and you brought them on. How did that happen?
So yeah, obviously besides Note, everyone was a student of mine from the beginning. I literally from the ground up built Georgie Garcia, Keenan Lewis, Chato, Adan, Sean. I know you take Sean's classes a lot. Who else is there? Coach Steve.
Yep.
But everybody started with me. And like I said, man, I think this kind of shows proof of my methods of teaching. Is even though I have my style, you see it yourself as a student that all these coaches bring something different. I've never told them, you know, when I trained them, I was like, this is what we're all doing. You can see it in all their classes. They all teach something different. They teach their style. So when I kind of started growing the gym little by little, you know, one of the biggest things for me, man, and I'm huge on this, he knows this, is loyalty, you know. Even though I love all my guys, I love all my fighters, at the end of the day, I still run a business, you know. And you have to be with me for a while. You have to be with me. I think you don't necessarily, even though all of them have fought, you don't necessarily have to win and have this amazing record, but you have to show, you know, that you were able to learn, adapt, and apply. You know, if you can't do those things, like how can you tell somebody else to do that? You know, that question that you ask yourself where you're like, man, like I want to get that feeling where like the stuff I'm learning, I can do it in a fight. You know, that's everybody's feeling, you know, and because of the sport we do, you don't get those many hours like NBA game, right? You're a basketball player. You play one game. What's one game? 48 minutes?
Yeah.
You know, how much was your fight? 6 minutes?
Yeah.
How long do you train for a day? About an hour.
Yeah.
So you got to compress everything you learn in those 6 minutes, you know? So there's a lot, man. And when I think of those things, I always like, who can explain that to somebody that wants to compete? Because again, I still want all my coaches to have that mentality. Like, hey, we're training somebody. They don't have to fight, but they're going to know how to fight.
Yeah, 100%. And for people who may see this who, you know, fight and may want to join a gym, like for instance, my week at Saxon, Monday it's Sean, Tuesday it's Georgie, Wednesday it's Sean, Thursday it's Spencer, Friday it's Chato. So in 5 days, I'm getting 5 different looks. And let's say that I don't, for sure, but let's say as a fighter, you have a preference of your coach. You can go to his classes or you can get one-on-ones with him as well. But for someone like me and Jeff, we get 5 different looks in 1 week. It's crazy. I don't know if there's a lot of gyms out there like that. A couple more questions, and I want to respect your guys' time here. You guys have been to Thailand how many times?
He's been there, what, twice? Yeah, I've been there 3 times.
Shane, what do you get out of Thailand that you don't necessarily get in America when you're training? Is it just the experience from those Thai guys, or is it the atmosphere, or is it everything?
It's everything, man. That's where life is. That's where, you know, Muay Thai is just fun. You know, you look at here, everyone's like, oh yeah. In Thailand, it's just all fun and games, and then once it's time to train, it's time to train.
Do you ever want to be based there? You can like immerse yourself there in that Thailand, you know, that lifestyle and that way of training, or are you always going to see yourself based here in LA?
I do want to go to Thailand and experience that.
Fight there?
Yeah.
100%. Is that something that you guys are aiming towards eventually, to be based in Thailand for a little bit? Or is that not something that's on the board necessarily? It's more so like, hey, we want to get to this promotion.
No, that's definitely on the
board.
board.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, we've talked about it. You know, it's funny because I brought it up to him, man. Most of the time, like, you know, parents want to keep their kids at home. I told him, I'm like, man, you should go live in Thailand for a little bit. And the first time he went, he was like, nah, I'm not trying to do that, you know. But this last time we went, man, I wanted him to kind of get a good feel of what the life is like. I know he answered, man, but I think that's probably like the main thing is you know, here it's unfortunate, but like the type of life we live, you know,
yeah.
you can't just, like if you wanted to, you can't just go and take 10 a.m., 1 p.m., 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that in Thailand, man. You know, I could do that because I'm not working. So, but that's definitely like something that you can do out there. You have the ability to take, you know, all the classes. You're surrounded by like-minded people. Like, you know, if there's not Thai, if there's somebody from some other country, chances are that dude's like training at the same spot with you. So it's dope, man. And yeah, we've thought about him just going, and now like we're actually thinking as a family to go out there.
Yeah, that would be tight. I actually am planning to go for my 30th birthday in January, so I'll talk to you about some recommendations off the pod. Transitioning back to the gym real quick. So for, you know, what would you say to people out there who are thinking about maybe joining? What would you say to any new members that may want to join Saxon?
Do it if you have the time. You know, because it's something that, especially at my gym, man, I welcome everybody. You know, I welcome everybody. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's still an art, you know. And I use this example all the time. You know, you think about language arts. Let's say you want to learn another language. You know, how quickly would you learn that language if you just went twice a week, once a week? And keep in mind, it's just an hour. You know, are you trying to speak fluently? Or are you just trying to have a conversation with somebody?
That's a great way to put it.
Because what we do is we're trying to teach you to speak fluently with anybody that wants to talk to you. So if you got the time, then come through. You know, that's the number one thing. If you're going to be committed, come through. If you're ready to challenge yourself, come through. If you have no ego, come through. Anything else, if you couldn't answer those, we're probably not for you. You know, pretty simple.
100%. For the guys that train, and women, sorry, for everyone that trains at Saxon, how do you do the, like, booking their fights? Is that all through you?
Yeah.
Okay. And how does that come along? I'm assuming it's just from networking over the last 15 years, but how are you able to get fights for fighters so quickly?
Yeah, we've just been in the game for so long. You know, I say this a lot, man, but your coaches that you train with right now paved the way. You know, the Chatos, the Georgies, the Keenans. Spencer, you know. Yeah, man, we talked like Spencer. We were just talking about this like 2 weeks ago, man. Spencer has fought some of the best fighters. Spencer has fought some guys that are in one championship.
Wow.
You know? And all these guys, man, would compete. They would, again, I would teach all the classes. I would train these guys. Everything that I would ask them to do, they would do. You know, no hesitation. And every time we had a local fight, you know, want to say at least minimum 100 people would come through. You know, ticket sales is big right now because Muay Thai is not so big and you kind of rely on ticket sales. But if you had a Saxon fighter on the card, you knew that we were rolling deep. You know, so promoters love that. Promoters love people that sell tickets. Promoters love people that put on a good show. And yeah, man, throughout the years, all these coaches that are now at Saxon always did all that, you know, checked every box, and now, you know, I'm pretty grateful that I don't have to call anybody. They just kind of call me, and promoters just tell me when their next date is and ask me if I have anybody ready.
For the Cali Kid promotion, you select the card?
Yeah, I put all the fights together.
So if there is someone at Saxon that, you know, wants to fight, how do you decide, like, okay, I'm going to put you on my card? Do they reach out to you, or do you maybe think, okay, this person's ready? How does that work?
Well, it's a little interesting because I don't teach any of the kids class and I'm not there. So there I have to talk to Georgie. Yeah, I talk to Georgie and Steve. We teach the Simi Valley the kids class in Simi Valley, and so does Georgia. So I have a better idea of who I would put on that card. But I definitely get with the coaches, and the first thing has to be consistency. You know, with fighting, man, like I said, you know, it's like any other sport. You know, I know this. I sound like a broken record, but I bring up other sports because people can relate to it. You know, you want to play a basketball game? Everybody wants to play a basketball game. Everybody wants to scrimmage. Who wants to run drills? Nobody. You know, I want to know the ones that want to drill.
Yeah.
I want to know the ones that want to run.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, you start checking those boxes and be like, all right, we got something lined up for you.
How important, you just thought me to think of another question, how important is I know you have the rule, if you want to fight, no running, no Muay Thai.
Yeah.
How important is running if you want to be a good Muay Thai fighter?
I'll put it to you like this, man. You're going to go to Thailand?
Yes.
In January?
Yes.
Be ready to run. You know, you cannot step on the mats before you run. That's that simple. You know, I told him that before we went to Thailand. You know, he actually didn't like running. I don't think anybody likes running.
I hate it, but I do it.
Yeah. But it's, look, man, I do it because, and a lot of people think it's for the conditioning aspect, which absolutely you get conditioning. But you need that mental aspect. You know, you go swimming, you can come up for a breath, you can stop. You go cycling, you can do everything else with your buddies. But to get up and put your shoes on, your socks, and be like, all right, I'm gonna go do this for X amount of time, it's not easy, man. It's not easy.
No.
You know, and you need to do that. Like, I posted something, man, and it's, I hope nobody takes that shit because it's my quote. But I put, dedication eats up motivation. You know, you gotta be dedicated. You know, people get motivated all the time. Like, I want to fight. You know, that's what he was talking about a little bit.
Yeah.
And then they'll take their fight, they'll win, and where do you think they're at the next week? The following week. You know, I can tell you what he did after he was done with his fight. Fucking ran.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we ate like pigs. You know, we were waiting for that because when he's 100%. When he's on a diet, the whole family's on a diet. But we still ran. You know, and that's what really running does. So it's super important, man.
And you just kind of touched on something. You said the whole family's on a diet when Shane's on a diet. You have like a whole circle of support with you when you're in these like camps and you're at your fight. I mean, I know Julio Sr., one of the greatest guys I've ever met. That guy's always in a good mood.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's super fortunate that you have that support system, and you take full advantage of it as well. It's not like you don't put the work in. Everything you earn, you put the work in. But where I'm from, man, like a lot of my homeboys growing up, they don't have father figures, and if they do have father figures, they're not necessarily the best type of father figure. And you know, Julio, you're just doing what you know how to do, and I don't think a lot of people have that opportunity or the luck to have a dad that's so invested and cares about your growth and your success. So it's just something I wanted to mention, man, because a lot of my guys, a lot of my friends, they don't have that. So it's very special what you guys have, and I see the family dynamic. It's very inspiring. Even if I don't ever want to, you know, I have my own thing going on. I don't see myself ever being a real fighter, but being in that gym, it feels like I am. It feels like I have a support system where it's like, if that's what I wanted to do and I put the work in, I could do that. It's a really cool shit that you guys have going on at Saxon. And Julio, I wanted to ask you, for current fighters at your gym that only train at your gym, and or maybe spend some time at other gyms as well, but without saying names, obviously, what do you want to see more out of your current fighters? You kind of just touched on it, right? When you win, you're kind of out of the mix for a little bit. What would you like to see more out of current fighters that Saxon is representing, and you're spending time out of your day to book these fights? Maybe you or Nope or these other coaches are going to the promotion. You're sitting all day. It's not all glamour. We see the fight, but we don't see the waiting for hours, backstage, warming up. Yeah. You're sacrificing your Saturdays. You're sacrificing your weekends. What do you want to see more out of the fighters at Saxon?
Man, you asked me that question 2 years ago. It's a different answer. 3 years ago, it's always going to be a different answer. This year, we're going to go back to running, you know? Because again, everybody wants to fight. Everybody wants to do this. I can't be at every single class. And when I was at every single class, I had a little bit more, I was able to manage this a little bit better. I would just tell them, show up. I got to see you. I got to see you. I can't see if you're there now. So for me, as you ask something from me, I want to know if you can do this. If you show me that you can run and you have proof, because that's all I'm asking for. That's the start of it. If you can't do that, then I can't do what you're asking for. So for me, it's doing exactly what I asked. do those 10 miles, 15, whatever I ask you to do, show proof, and then if you don't do it and excuses start coming in, I know what type of person you are, you know?
100%.
So there is a little judging, man, sorry.
No, you're good. I mean, it makes sense. A random question I had for you. Do you think Muay Thai is the best form of combat sports to know for a street fight?
If you run into me, yeah. Yeah, if you run into me, yeah.
Have you ever had to use your Muay Thai in a street fight?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Yeah, man, I kind of, you know, I don't start anything. And it's not a crazy story, man, so don't think that I beat this dude up. But I push kicked the shit out of him, you know? I just threw one push kick. He, like, went through the bar. And, yeah, man, it ended everything, you know? So...
When you're an experienced fighter, it's just like, it's night and day, like 100%. But I was always curious. I always like to ask. I've asked Sean, I've asked George the same type of question. I'm always just curious. I'm sure you probably never ran into that. You seem like a guy who just stays out the mix. You know, 100%. I don't want to take up too much more of your guys' time. I know it's your Saturday. You have a lot going on. I really appreciate you guys coming on, Shane, especially with, like, you know, I'm a believer. I see you in one championship in the next couple of years, and maybe you can come back on my pod and we'll do this again when the time is right. But this is a new pod, and I'm fairly new to the Saxon space as well. So it means a lot that you guys are taking your time to come chat with me. Is there anything, you know, that you're looking forward to specifically that you'd want to share, or what's on the horizon? You know, I know we touched on the 15th anniversary, your Cali Kids promotion coming up, and then ultimately Italy. But is there other things that you're working on that you're excited about?
Yeah, man, I'm always excited about things. You know, you asked me about another location. I think there's a strong possibility that might happen. You know, we're gonna have to move. I'm moving. I live in Puerto Ranch right now, and looking to move. Probably gonna live in Santa Clarita.
Okay.
And the commute's not gonna be the same, so
Right.
I might want to open up something nearby. But for me, man, as an owner, I'm always trying to make the gym better. You know, you talked about the cleanliness. That's something that I take pride on. You know, I always want to make sure that you guys come in and you know, like, hey, man, this is a safe space. I always want new toys at the gym. You know, I always want better equipment. So, and you know, I won't say too much, man, but my lease is probably up at the Van Nuys location, and I'm always looking to expand. So
Nice.
yeah,
Very nice.
I know Nope wants a bigger spot too. So
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. And then Shane, are you you're gonna fight in Italy? That's
Yeah.
for sure booked. Is that like a tournament style, or
Yeah, tournament style.
so? How many fights do you have to potentially fight?
It depends on how many countries and kids are in my weight bracket. That's how many times I have to fight.
When you turn 18, I think you said September. Are you guys going to continue to do some more AMIs, or is that time to declare pro?
no, definitely gonna do some.
I don't know. I'm ignorant to this. That's probably the smarter thing to do, right? Do you have a timeline, or you're just kind of like, or is this focused on a fight at a time?
I'm sure he has a timeline. For me, I want to see some fights, you know, because yeah, man, he's turning into an adult, but he's not an adult yet,
Yeah.
you know, and I want him to fight some adults, which he actually has, man. Like, he's fought some kids that are older. Like, I think he was 16, he fought an 18-year-old that was turning 19. But I definitely want him to carry that same confidence into the ring with an adult. You know, we're going to do a couple tournaments we kind of already have planned. But he's already jumping in, you know, like the tournament that we're thinking about him doing is there's classes. There's A, B, and C class. A class is for anybody that has, 15 fights or more.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know, whoever he fights in that tournament, this is after Italy, this is when he turns 18, is going to be an adult that's had 15 fights with adults.
So you could be an adult with 45 fights.
100%, yeah.
Is that nervous to you, or you're like,
No,
let's get me in there?
Yeah.
Because you kind of want to just prove it to yourself anyways.
Yeah.
Like, I'm meant to be here. I'm a dog. Like, I can stand and bang with these guys.
Exactly.
Random question again. When do you stop wearing shin guards and headgear in Muay Thai?
It depends what organization you're fighting, but for the most part, it's after 3 fights. After 3 fights, you can fight without. If you're under 18, you always have to fight with shin guards and headgear. But as an adult, your 4th fight, you can fight without headgear and shin guards.
Do you fight predominantly orthodox or southpaw?
Southpaw, but I do switch stances.
You switch stances.
A lot. Yeah.
when you guys, and obviously you don't give away your keys or any opponents that may see this, but do you guys formulate an actual game plan based on the opponent? And is sometimes that like, hey, you're going to come out southpaw and we're going to try to work the jab or get inside, or is it like, what is that process like for game planning for a big fight?
Yeah, so we've started doing that, you know, like that shouldn't come until what you asked them was, do you feel comfortable in there now? Can you
100%.
Can you pull the trigger when you have to? So the last, maybe 5-6 fights, we've definitely had a game plan for our opponents.
Do you train both stances?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have one that you prefer?
Southpaw.
Southpaw.
Yeah, I'm a lefty.
Okay, got you. So your power hands in the back. No, yeah, I was just always curious. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I'm looking forward to the in-house, the 15th anniversary. Looking forward. I got my ticket to the Cali Kids, and then I'll be watching. Obviously, you representing the squad here. But other than that, man, I just really appreciate you guys. I would love to have you guys on again. But that's it, man. Thank you.
Awesome,
I appreciate you guys.
Thanks for having
Appreciate
me.
it.
Thank you, man.
Cool.